If you've been in healthcare long enough, you know how important family support is. But what happens when there is no family support? I'm going to talk about it right now on this episode of the PT Talk. This is a series where I sit down and talk about topics that are related to healthcare, physical therapy, and things like that, the good, the bad, the uncut, unfiltered. I want to go right into it. This is a place coming from a place of frustration and a place where I just don't understand sometimes. This is something that is really not said in front of a patient because as a professional, you have to maintain your credibility and you have to remain calm. But at the same time, when you empathize with patients, it is so frustrating to have a situation like this. Giving a backstory, I have a patient right now who is in her late 70s, early 80s, who is confused and cannot take care of herself. And I've been seeing her for a couple weeks now, and she is going home soon. She has a daughter here in town that was kind of taking care of her for the most part before she came to the hospital. And now her daughter is kind of nowhere to be found. Now, I say that even though she's kind of come to the hospital a few times, without warning or without letting us know that she is going to come. But essentially, I want to talk about family members who are not providing family support when they are able to. And I understand that there are many caveats to this, and I don't want to be insensitive because I know caregivers are going through a lot, right? They have their own personal life. They may have transportation issues coming to the hospital. And really what it comes down to is, honestly, sometimes caregivers, this is a time for rest for them. Put yourself in a caregiver's shoes where the person that they are being a caretaker for is in the hospital and the hospital is doing everything for them. They're getting fed, they're getting changed, they're getting therapy, and they have the staff around this person taking care of them. So you don't have to. And you might have spent months and years taking care of this person, and they are in the hospital. So this may be a time where you can work on yourselves, do all the things that you need to do, run your errands, and just be mentally at peace. Now, I don't know what really the full situation is of this family member, the daughter of my patient. However, in the last 2 weeks that I've had this patient, I've been trying to schedule family training. Now, family training in a rehab hospital means that, we schedule a time where the family member comes to the room and we have that family member do everything for our patient. So helping them get in and out of the bed, going to and from the bathroom. If my patient does not know how to clean themselves after toileting, then the caregiver needs to do that. How to help walk patients, because oftentimes you need to have your hand on them pretty much at all times if they are not safe. Positioning in a wheelchair, positioning in bed to prevent pressure injuries and pressure sores. So family training is so important, and I've been trying to schedule this for 2 weeks, and it hasn't happened until recently. Now, what is frustrating is that I have been trying to plan this, as well as other therapists and other staff in our department. But whenever we try to call the phone number, the voicemail is full. And this was midway through working with her. Initially when we would call her, we would be able to leave a voicemail. Now the voicemail is full, so when we call, it goes to nothing. And we've been trying to get a hold of her for so long, right? For simple things like paperwork, coming in for family training, maybe dropping off some food, and so we can show her all the precautions that she has for, aspiration and swallowing. Because with this patient, you can't just give her food expecting her to eat it, right? It has to be chopped and minced in order for her to not choke. This is something that's not really talked about in front of the patient, because this patient, well, she's confused. So anything that I educate her on, it just goes past her head, and there's no sense of intake from my patient's end on education. But it's really just frustrating, and I wanted to just lay this out for this episode of this series, because I know if you're a healthcare worker, I understand how you feel. This happens so much when there is family members that are available but are not present. And so how do you deal with that, right? Do you talk to the patient? And if you talk to the patient, how do you talk to them? Because at the same time, you still have to be encouraging to them, and you have to provide a sense of hope, telling them that, hey, we've been trying to contact your family member. We hope that they do come. But sometimes it really is, again, I think it's frustrating. And, the best thing that we can do is really just talk to other coworkers and staff members or supervisors, getting insight on what to do next. But this is one of the downsides of healthcare, is really put yourself in a position where you are in the hospital and you cannot take care of yourself for however many reasons, right? But you know that you have a family member in town that is available, that is supposed to take care of you when you leave and go home, but is not currently available, and you are going home soon. Put yourself in that situation. Imagine just how hopeless that you could feel. And it really is even more impactful to us as therapists, because we spend so much time with our patients. In the rehab department, patients are there for a couple weeks, and we see them pretty much every day. So I've really built enough connection with my patients, because I see her every day. I know her patterns. I know when she is awake, what she doesn't want to do. Mind you, my patient right now is not really able to talk as much. She's confused, and she's not able to take care of herself. So already I have a sense of responsibility and this heaviness that I have to take care of this patient. But I also know that I can't take care of this patient forever. I have to hand it off to the daughter to take her home and take care of her. But when there is no daughter available, then that's when it can be really, again, just frustrating, because we want nothing but the best for our patients. So I just wanted to lay that out for today's episode. How do you deal with this if you're a healthcare worker? Do you talk to your coworkers? Do you just try to keep contacting family members? Do you try to talk to the patient, and how do you talk to the patient? Is this something that you encounter often? And if so, what are some things that we need to do to make this better for our patients? I'll leave it at that. I have so many topics that I want to talk about, but I'll leave it for another episode of this series, the PT Talk. But thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment below if you found this useful, or if you have anything to say, or if you want me to discuss any topics related to healthcare. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.